Um, Really just competing with the running backs every day. We push each other to like go harder. Cause like some days we wake up, and we just don't feel like practicing. But every day you gotta wake up and go hard.
Are you aware of what the expectations are for you, even as a true freshman?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but I don't pay it any mind. I just try to focus on getting better each and every day, not paying like the articles and stuff in the mind.
Do you like though that there's some buzz out there about you, trivia?
It's cool, but I just don't let that stuff get to me.
The fact you didn't play last year, how has that affected you, if at all?
Um, it hasn't really affected me. I mean, like when I didn't play last year, I spent that time working on my game. But like once I started getting hit and stuff again, I got tired of getting hit. But once I adjusted to it, I was straight.
And what was it like the first time you got hit? Remember that?
Uh, it didn't really hurt, but it lied.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you?
The biggest adjustment is just the speed of the game. Like guys are faster, technique and stuff wise. They're good at their techniques. So the game just got faster for getting the plays packed down and stuff early. Getting in shape and stuff, getting ready for fall camp. Things like that.
How does the summer and getting to help you
I had a couple pounds, but yeah, summer training was really hard. It pushed me a lot.
What's your size right now, Trivia?
My size,
Yeah.
like my height,
Height and weight, yeah.
5'10" and a half, 5'11" ish. I'm around 213 ish.
What do you want to get to? Is that a good weight for you? How would you describe it?
My weight is bipolar, so I think I'm good around that.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, just pass protection, for example, pass pro. You probably did some of that in high school, but what's totally different about it at this level from your vantage point?
What's different about it is you got the big linebackers actually trying to come and knock you out. So it's all about technique. The technique there, you should be straight.
Has that been your, I don't know, biggest challenge to adjust to at this level? I mean, your wiggle seems to be there still when you run.
Yeah. Not really. I think I've been doing really good with my pass protection. I just gotta work more on my technique. But other than that, I've been doing pretty good on that.
What were your expectations for yourself coming in?
Got a lot of expectations for myself. I got big expectations. I don't want to put that out there, but I got big expectations for myself.
In a room with five backs in it, what do you have to do to stand out, do you think? Is it just do everything right? I mean, how would you describe it?
Yeah, definitely that. I mean, it's all about competing, stuff like that, getting better each and every day. You can't take no day off. You can't waste a day because you waste a day, that next running back, he not wasting a day. He trying to get better.
How does Coach Alford, how does he keep you informed of, like, sort of, for want of another term, where you stand? I mean, you know what I mean? Does he let you guys know after practice every day, good, bad, it's indifferent?
No, not really.
Really?
Yeah, not really.
So, what, you walk in every day with a blank slate? I mean, how would you describe it?
Yeah, pretty much that. I mean, he motivate all of us to do better, though, each and every day. He tell us, like, not to waste a day and things like that. But other than that, he tell all of us, like, this is a big day, things like that.
Having five quality running backs in the room, obviously you can't play five guys. How do you think it's gonna? How are you guys dealing with that reality?
Not sure for real. We'll see like how it works out during the season. But right now we just gotta finish fall camp, keep going hard to the end.
What's your relationship with Evan like, and how you kind of leaned on each other during camp, kind of being?
Yeah, me and Evan, we're close. It's both our first fall camp, so it's pretty tough for both of us just being our first fall camp. But I think we've been doing really good.
What have you seen that stands out about Master and Mayan this camp?
Yeah, Master and Mayan, both great running backs.
And what does that mean to you when you say great running back? What are you talking about? What are they doing well?
Pretty much everything.
Was there a moment in camp when you realized, even though you didn't play last year, it might have been rusty, different class of athlete, yeah, I belong here?
Say that again?
Was there a moment in camp when you realized, yeah, I can do this, I belong here?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always think I belong here. I mean, I'm competing against the best players every day. So like I love competing. I compete in everything, so I definitely belong here.
So you're talking, clearly have high expectations for yourself, but you also know what everybody else is saying, even though you don't care. But it might not come all at once. Obviously, it might take some time to get there. You might not have the J.K. Dobbins experience the way people want you to have. In that first game, you have 181 yards. Do you have to kind of ever pace yourself and kind of remind yourself of that sometimes, where you might not come out of the gate swinging, but by the time we get to the postseason, you might round it before.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really pay attention to like the articles. I know they expected me to do this record, break that record, but I don't pay attention to none of that. I just focus on doing me.
Trevion, building off.
Obviously, you didn't play senior high school, so you get here, I'm sure you were ready to run the football. But was it different than you even thought?
Yeah, it's definitely different than I thought. I mean, the players very good. Like practicing is the best players, like I said. And like when I first got here, I think I told y'all that once I get that first hit, I'll be straight. I took that first hit.
Who gave it to you?
I think it was Pope.
Another Virginia guy.
Yeah, I think it was Pope.
Well, have you felt that you and Evan have been able to kind of push Master and Marcus and Ryan and these guys to make sure that they're ready? Do they know you're coming?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you do that? Yeah, as a young guy, how do you make that sort of push?
Just working hard, like each and every day, waking up and working hard, and I think that pushes them to work hard too.
So, what is your, you have 2 weeks away from game 1. What is your expectation for that day? Do you plan on, obviously you're going to plan on being there, but I mean, do you feel like you're going to be that guy that gets the rock in the important situation?
Yeah, hopefully I get to make an immediate impact. That's all I'm hoping for.
You're a running back. I know you have to learn the offense and everything, but how much is it the instincts take back over there once you get the ball?
A lot. Like spring ball, just focused on like my techniques and stuff, getting the technique down, making sure I got the right time, things like that, making sure I'm in the right holes. So now ball camp, like I'm better off. I'm playing faster now. Now knowing that I know all of this stuff, I know how to take the right tracks. I know which reads to make and stuff like that.
Is that a lot of big changes, or just kind of some tweaks to how you were already doing?
It's really not a lot of big changes, but it's just you learn way more than you learned in high school for real.
Real quick, we've seen you at kick return a little bit. What is that like? How much experience do you have doing that, and how's that gone for you playing them?
I have a lot of experience, but in high school, I used to like let the ball roll. I didn't catch the ball, let the ball roll, let everybody get down. Then I started working my way to the touchdown, but now I actually got to catch the ball.
It's a little different doing it at college.
Yeah.
You were toying with people basically in high school because you knew you were in school.
Something like that.
Has it been more of a challenge? I know you guys aren't live all the time. Has it been more of a challenge considering what you've done here?
Not really. We'll see. Like once we actually got people gunning for our heads. We'll see then.
What's it like being that good, man? Where you can test stuff. Basically, you're trying to make it harder for yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do that.
It don't really feel like that. It don't really.
So averaging 12 yards per carry is just nothing.
Yeah,
That's just how it
don't
works.
really, to me, it don't feel like it. Like other running backs could probably feel special to them, but for me, it don't feel like anything.
So what would be special? What's something you would do? You would have to do to make you feel, dang, that was okay.
I have moments like that sometimes, but I'm very hard on myself. Like I'm always looking to critique myself. Like even if I make a big play, I'm always looking for that one little mistake I made. I'd be like, dang, I could do better. Pretty much all of them, for real. Honestly, pretty much all of them. Yeah, definitely that. But we're a pretty strong unit. Like anytime we're feeling down anything, you can hit up one time.
How long would it take you
Yeah, a little bit.
Thank you for your time. Thanks, Fagan.
healthy.
How's it going?
Sideways, man.
He's not even sitting down there, huh? I want to
Leave a while?
How hard is it for me to get across? We have manners there.
Matters.
We have manners.
Yes, sir. How have Trey and Evan pushed the veteran guys? How have those guys been instrumental in the leaps you've seen with Marcus and Ryan?
Yeah, I think they've definitely pushed. They've helped elevate the room, some new energy, some new juice, if you will, and they're young guys, so they're trying to impress, and so they go extremely hard when they're doing things and very intentional. And so yeah, it's definitely lifted the room up. It's just repetition again on the jugs and just stationary things. You go back to ground zero. Just like teaching my sons when they didn't know they were little boys, and it's how you teach them to catch. Some guys are a little more gifted than others, obviously, but you just find different ways to enhance their skills.
So do you have an idea yet how you would manage these 5 guys?
No, not yet.
Go all the way to those?
Yeah, we'll sit down as a staff and start discussing those things, and in the days to come, that's coming. Obviously, as we get closer to the game, 15 days away, I believe it is, and but we haven't done that, talk about that just yet. I mean, I'm starting to have an idea, just for myself, but we haven't sat down and really discussed that yet.
It seems like the way it goes, like leave practice someday, and maybe somebody's talking about Travion the next day, and it seems like all of them can bring something to that.
Yeah, they can. You said it seems like some days we walk away talking. I don't know who we is. Maybe you guys. But yeah, they all do. I mean, I think, I know for a fact I feel good about those guys that can put them all in games. Some days guys have better days than others. That's the natural tendency of things. And that's kind of the ebb and flow and ups and downs that go on every now and again. But I feel good about all those guys right now. It's a great. First of all, it's not a problem. Like I said, I was just saying, we're not sure, we haven't figured that out yet. And you guys ask me that every year, probably 5-6 times a year. In the spring, in the summer, it's the same questions. Or is it going to be by committee? Is it going to be this way? Is it going to be that? We don't know yet. And here's what I do know: that whatever I say at the same time every time, whatever it takes to win games, that's what we're going to do. And we're not into making guys happy. This isn't a happy camp. And like I said, we're going to do whatever we need to do to win football games, whatever that looks like. And we haven't come right now to the. We haven't solidified exactly how that's going to go yet, as far as the rep counts and things like that. But that'll play itself out. I would, and then definitely for the guys I feel comfortable with everything, and Evan's really gotten better. As a young guy, and he's really gotten better in the past week. He really started to see his game elevate. He started to play a lot faster. He's got some juice, especially when he gets out on the edges on the perimeter. So he's definitely improved. I'm very happy with where he's coming right now. But yeah, I think all 5 guys will go out there and play for us.
With Evan and Trey,
got excited last year by those flashes that you saw from Mayan, in the postseason and everything. I'm sure that you guys are seeing even more behind the scenes. Like, what else are you guys seeing that hasn't kind of in the mix?
Well, just the way he prepares. He prepares like a pro. He doesn't get flustered. Never too high, never too low. Good or bad. Right? Things that'll happen within a matter of practices or meetings. And he's a pretty even-keeled guy and brings great energy every single day. And again, he's very serious about this game. And the thing, he doesn't make many mistakes.
with Evan and Trey, it seems like.
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Where do you see that show up on the field in practice?
Well, I think it helped with his lateral quickness and short space bursts and things like that. That certainly helped his cause and his stamina, things like that. And so you can see that that's helped. And also it talks about talks about your buy-in. Here are the things you need to do to get better to play. Either you do or you don't. And we have a saying around here, see the thumbs up or thumbs down. It's very easily evaluated. And so he's doing the things Mind is doing and has done, the things that are necessary to get his body and his mind right to play.
With Evan and Trey, it seems like, at least from the outside looking in, you would know better than I would, that they're two sides of the same running back coin. Like one seems to be more lean heavily towards being a passing threat in the pass game, while one maybe is better between the tackles. When they first got here, have you seen that other side for each maybe develop a little bit as they got? Is that a fair assessment as well?
Yeah, that's a fair question. One of the things we're always trying to develop is a complete player, the complete back. Not just a guy that can go in on third down or a guy that can just do this. So, you know, they've had to enhance the things that they're really good at, and then obviously work on the things that they're a little more deficient at. But they're both in their own right, kind of coming into that space of being that complete player that we're looking at. And it's obviously a continual process, but very pleased with where they're at as of today.
Tony, there's probably a difference between, you know, an experienced player and a player who is this sense of innocence where, you know, maybe they don't know yet what experienced players do, but you kind of try to protect the innocence of a young player, right? That equilibrium point might be a little different for each guy. You've got vets in the room, you've got young guys in the room. How do you try to protect and foster that sense of innocence with young guys and keep them willing to learn what you're trying?
That's a fine line. And I think it's just, again, I always use the analogy of raising your children, right? You want them to grow and experience some things so that they can continue to grow, but not to where it becomes catastrophic or detrimental in their growth, where you throw them to the wolves, so to speak, where they can't survive, and all of a sudden it knocks them back 10 steps because their confidence level and things like that. So I think a lot of it's just due to the fact that as a coach that, okay, here are the things that they're good at. Any player, not just young player, but any player, here's what they're good at. So let's make sure that we're allowing them to live in that space for a little bit so they can continue to gain confidence, but at the same time matriculate them into the situation where, okay, now this water's getting a little deeper for you here. But they can still survive it. And then when they kind of catch on to that one, you just continue to grow. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, there's a fine line, and everybody's at a different place. You know, they don't all start in the same level, if you will. And but that's part of coaching. That's part of growing young people and young men.
When you have returning guys who are established, but then you've also got some talented young guys where, you know, the expectations are what they are for themselves, right. And then from the outside, what has to realistically happen for that young guy to unseat the guy who's...
He's got to make plays. You have to continually make plays. Continually show the staff and the football team that you can be trusted on. You know, we talk about competitive excellence. When your number's called, are you going to deliver? As a young guy, you have to be able to deliver, and that's in special teams. That's in, you know, meetings. If we ask you a question in a meeting, it's everything. It's not just on the field, right? I mean, it's everything. Are you accountable in the weight room? Are you accountable in meetings? Are you accountable to get to where you're supposed to be on time? They tell you to weigh in. Did you weigh in? Did you do all the little things correctly that are going to eventually evolve to doing the big things? And so this got to continue to make plays and continue to get better, and where there's some tangible results that you can see day in and day out. And when their time comes, they got to be able to produce.
Clearly the master, there's no issue with the board.
Right.
Where is the element that you want to focus on most of the last year this year, getting to that next level of running back?
Yeah, I just think there's some things, you know, in the run game, a lot of it's just being in the right place at the right time. When a hole develops and opens, that you're in that spot when you need to be in that spot, and have the ability to see it and then get through it. And that was probably the space where I personally think he needed to improve, and he has. He's showing that he's doing those things. And but effort's never been an issue. And I got to be quite frank, effort's never been an issue with any of our guys. I mean, that's not it. But it seems like those things are going pretty well for him right now. And, but I also believe that like you talk about those young guys coming in and the way they compete, that helps elevate the room, right? So all of a sudden you really can't afford to miss something because the next guy might not. And that's just kind of the game we're in.
Are you seeing? Yeah.
You know, more in the spring. Him and Evan both. You know, I think that was one of the things that they come in with such high expectations and the media hype and all these things that are great and it's good for a pat on the back. But when you get in between those lines, it really doesn't matter. And you got to play the game. How do you get better if you're not actually playing? So they needed to play, and you could tell in the spring that they were a little apprehensive on some things. One, because they didn't know. Again, it's a new system and everything's new to them. But two, they hadn't played in a long time. And it's one thing to play 7-on-7. It's one thing to go out and run drills and throw the ball with your buddies. It's a whole other issue to get 22 guys on the field, and here we go. But you can tell that they've settled in and with the calls and settled in with the way you play the game again. And you can see that maturation process every single day. It's just a little bit better. And they may not realize it because they're in that swirling bowl, if you will. But if you go back and look at practice 1 to practice 13, you can see it. Yeah, he's had a few of those wild moments, you know. And, yeah, he has.
What would be fair expectations for him as a freshman?
You know, I don't know. I don't want to put those expectations out like that. I don't want to say here's the expectation is. The expectation for Travion and Evan and Master and Marcus and Mayan is the same as it is for Mike Hall, to be the best version of them that they can be every single day, and to try to help this football team be as successful as it can be every single day. But to put some outside influences and pressures on them, I just don't think that's fair. But I think you can get what you want if, again, it goes back to be the best version of yourself, and that's going to be good enough.
Tony,
Travion was just talking to us about, you know, in kick returns sometimes he would let the ball roll because he knew he could beat guys in high school. You know, in college, obviously and he hasn't been in a game yet to see that, and he knows that. But, you know, for a guy that's that talented and could toy with guys like that, to come in and teach them, you know, put him at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, how does that look?
First of all, the ball better not roll on the ground. I'm still trying to get over that comment first. The ball's going to roll. What are we talking about? You know, all those guys at some point in time, they're probably at the bottom of the totem pole, if you will. Maybe they're fresh from high school, whatever it may be. And you earn everything that you get. Here, that's how it should be in life. You earn what you get. And so just because you came in with all these accolades does not mean that, okay, well, we're going to throw him in over here because of some past stuff. Everybody in that locker room was a star wherever they came from. And so you got to go to work and you got to earn your keep. But that's in recruiting, so it's not like they don't know that. And then these kids come in here and they just go to work and they get indoctrinated into the program as the older guys help them because they've all been in that situation before, mind you, a few years back. And, so again, it's not about we're going to beat a guy up because he's young. It's just we're all in this thing together. We're all in here for the same reason, to win games and be the best that we can be. And some guys develop at different rates. And when they show us, guys show us that they can play winning football in that stadium in front of our great fans and for this great state of Ohio, then they'll play.
How much talking for them? The pressure behavior, we all have to do it.
Every day. Every day. Well, I think that's been that was formed way before me. I would guess if you went back in the year, I mean Eddie George, all the way back, that's kind of been infiltrated into this building, and that's the culture of this building, the culture of this program. That we all need each other, and that's how they prepare. You know, you got guys like Marcus Crowley that's helping young guys out. I watched Master T help Caden Saunders, a freshman walk-on, you know, Cedric's son, and so those guys are always helping one another out, and sometimes intentionally. You know, I do want to be the bad cop, you know, where I can kind of say something and everybody else kind of jumps in to to defend or help, whoever. So, but that's the culture of this room, and I think it's a testament to these guys are as people. It's a testament to how they've been raised as their families have raised them, and it's a testament to our locker room. It's a testament to Ryan Day and the culture that he wants in this program. And so yeah, I don't in our room I don't know it any other way. Those guys help one another out because they all know at the end of the day we all need each other.
So you mentioned he was honest that maybe in the title game he wasn't feeling full confidence in that knee.
Right.
There's been a couple times around where he looks like he's back to his old ways. Are you still seeing any?
No, I haven't seen any of the ill effects. None whatsoever. His attitude's been fantastic. He's gained weight. He's gained the weight that we asked him to gain. So Marcus has done everything that we've asked him to do on and off the field.
He gets back to what he was doing as a freshman. What can that mean?
It means a heck of a lot. I like to think. He's a good football player. He's showing us he has some flashes, especially a couple years back. And again, we're going to need them all. It's a long year. It's a long season, and it's a grueling season. It's a physical season. The way we practice is physical. So we're going to need them all, and all those guys. That goes back to your point of we all need one another because it's a long, grueling season.
Tony, these 5 guys all look a little bit different in the way, just from my eye, the way they do some things and stuff. What finally comes down to deciding who the guy is or who the 2 guys are in your mind?
Again, it goes back to who's making the plays consistently and gives the best chance to have success throughout the course of time. Those are going to be the guys that play. And,
can you get enough samples though from 5 guys to make to make that determination, or do you finally have to go with a little gut check?
With some of that, I imagine. Yeah, definitely. We only got so many reps, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of have to go with some things. We kind of see flashes of things here and flashes of things there, and make some decisions based on that. It's like anything else you do in this world.
Yeah, and this specifically about Travion, I don't know if you want to talk about him, but when I watch him, he's got that, what I call that wiggle to him. Maybe into the line, maybe into the hole, but he's got these little moves he makes that seem almost innate and stuff. Am I seeing that right? I mean, is he special in that regard?
Yeah, he's got some skills.
Master doesn't seem to show that same.
No, and everyone's a little bit different, but he's got some different skill sets that can kind of get guys off balance a little bit just by kind of lean here or lean there, a little jab here, jab there, and that he can get defenders off balance just enough that he can squirt by him because he's got a good burst about him. One thing that's true for me is he, just before attacking a defender for a tackle, he does a good job of being able to level his pads off, get himself squared off. You're not going to get real clean shots at him, and you're not going to catch him off guard. He gets behind his pads really nice for a young guy. And so yeah, he's got some innate stuff about it. I like to say I coach it all, but I can't.
Hey, one other quickie, like you were talking about Master, being in the right place, right time, whatever. Are you talking about like that millisecond of patience to let things develop? I mean, just explain, a little bit
that's
more.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's a pace. Every play has a different pace to it, if you will, and just finding that fine line exactly what that is, and it's a little bit different for me or for you, or depending, the stride. It's just everybody's a little bit different. It's just finding that niche exactly where it's at. But he's getting better.
Tony,
last question right here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got that, whatever it is, and what's your why. And, I can see that can help push him some. And again, when you're watching everybody else, and all of a sudden you start seeing people doing certain things, it's like, man, I better get moving, because that train is continuing. That train's left the station and it's going to start rolling, and I got to keep up, whatever that looks like. And so yeah, but everyone's got their different motivators, intrinsic, extrinsic, whatever it may be, and if that was one of his, fantastic.
When you see really get that early having worked toward it, what does that mean for you?
Well, I we laugh and joke a lot about, I I did that. It's not this never has been nor will be about me, right? If I wasn't coaching the running backs, what's the date? 17th, 18th. They'd have another one here on the 19th, right? They have someone else coaching on the 19th. It is what it is. So really, for me, it's all about. I think this whole coaching thing is really about: are you helping develop these young men to be the people that they want to be, and obviously the football players they want to be too. And can I be an avenue, and am I an avenue and a caveat to help them, and a vehicle to help them achieve and to continue to grow? And so for me, it's great. It's like your kids when you see your kids happy and fulfilled because they achieve something. That's a great feeling. But not for me, but for them, because you see that the work that they put in to achieve something, and so it does it. You swallow a little bit of pride. Hey, that guy's doing well, and I'm happy for him. When I watch the success that J.K. Dobbins is having, I have nothing to do with that. That's him. That's his success. See, those are their successes. And I just happen to be one of the guys that I coach those guys, and I'm coaching Trey, and I'm coaching Evan, the master. So when they have successes, that's really a culmination of the work that they put in, and at least that's how I believe. And that's what I believe in, and that's what we're here to do, is to help them develop into the people and the players that they want to be.
Coach, thank you very much.
You guys good? Appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself.
Hey guys, let's back up, please. Can we back up? Everyone back up. Sit down, guys. Gonna have Coach stay for just a few minutes.
Just wanted to let you guys know, since some of you guys were asking just about CJ. We just something typically we do in camp is just shut them down at times with our arms. So that's all that was.
You weren't hiding him from the rest of the world?
We were not.
Ryan, how do you decide what days you need to do that with quarterbacks?
It just depends on kind of their how much they've been throwing, how much we've been throwing, and how tired they get. So we just kind of rely on them.
Did it matter if the Big Ten Network was here and they'd be broadcasting it across the nation, around the world?
I wish I could orchestrate everything like that, but that's just how it goes.
Ryan, how has Quinn started? First couple workouts that you've been able to get him into some work. How's he picking it up?
I mean, just learning where to go and where the locker room is and everything else.
Ryan.
Obviously, if CJ's not out there throwing today, Jack and Tyler getting
right.
Reps. Just what are you continuing to see from those guys as they continue to compete?
Yeah, what a great opportunity today for them to really step up and take reps with the ones, and big evaluation this week for those guys as well. And, now that we got a few reps this week with the ones, and then by Friday, I think we need to find out who's game ready, and so this is a big week for everybody, but certainly those guys as well. Yeah, he's going to be practicing here real soon. No, we're going to kind of get to the end of the week, and then we'll kind of sit down, and that's when a lot of hard decisions have to be made. But very, very impressed with those guys. I think we've created some depth there and some versatility at different positions. And, again, a couple more practices here this week, and then we'll kind of decide how we start to prepare for Minnesota.
It seems like Denzel Burke and Taylor Johnson are having their names called out there a lot today. What do you see from those two reps?
Yeah, I don't know if Quinn, they got pictures of Quinn on the microphone, back in the office somewhere, but they get called out a lot. I don't know if it's for making plays or if they got blackmail on Quinn, but no, they've been making a lot of great plays. They've been, I got to give them a lot of credit. They've been challenging a lot of routes. It's been one of the more competitive preseasons we've had, and if you can cover Chris and Garrett and those guys, then you can have a lot of confidence. You can cover a lot of guys in the country. So. I just like the competitive spirit of a lot of those guys back there.
When you've watched video of your practices, are you pleasantly surprised or, encouraged by what you're seeing from the defense from those guys?
I am.
Hey,
yeah,
put that in words. I mean, what's just jumping out at you?
Just the competitive nature. It's every ball's contested. I think that the D-line has done a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterbacks. I think just across the board, the one-on-one matchups have been competitive this preseason. And so, that's got to lead you to believe that it's going to, lead to a promising season. We'll see. Guys still have to play and step up, but there's been a lot of really good practices, a lot of physicality. I think that's the other part of this preseason that I've been impressed with, is how hard we've practiced, and that was another reason we took the pads off today.
Yeah. Are you going to award a Block O jersey like you did last year with Jonathan Cooper? I mean, do you still have that in mind?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Ryan,
You gonna ask who it was?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I was going. Is it like in the camp? The guy. I mean, what?
Pretty soon, yeah, the next week or so.
Ryan, with Quinn, obviously he didn't go through everything that some of the other quarterbacks were.
Right.
How do you work him in? I know he's still learning where everything is, but how do you work him in so that he does get reps, but the other guys that you have been here are also getting there? How does that kind of
Well,
work?
there's just so much for him to learn in such a short period of time. Usually we have months upon months of time to prepare them before they even step on the field. That's just showed up and learning formations, learning like that. So it's just individual drills, and we keep him after practice and try to teach him the offense. But we're certainly not just going to throw him in there. I mean, that's not fair to him, and also it's not fair to the other guys. I mean, if he doesn't know where things are, he gets somebody hurt. So, but he'll pick it up quick, and he's learning. And I think the guys are doing a good job of helping him along because I think they understand this is a very unique situation.
Ryan, there was just a handful of high-profile guys that were down here on this end. You don't have to address them specifically, but are there any long-term or potential game-missing injuries that I
No, not that I can forecast. No, this is the third week of camp, and we're battered and bruised. And I got to give there's some guys out there that are working through some injuries right now. A lot of credit, and we're a lot of guys have been practicing hard and taping up their ankles and their wrists and everything like that. That's part of camp, and if they can't go, then they can't go, and that's part of the pit. Yeah.
Bill, go ahead. We just have time for a couple more guys. Bill?
Ryan, I know, as Austin said, a lot of guys who maybe would be defensive starters weren't out there today, but it did seem like every time Quinn got on the mic and said first team D, there was a different 11 guys out there. How fluid is all that right now? And I guess, is it a good thing that you have that many guys that you can put out there with the first team?
I think it's twofold. I think there is some depth being built across the board on defense, but you also got to have your guys, and you got to have the guys that play, and eventually, someone's got to get out there and make it happen. So I think there's a couple things going on. I think one, there's depth being built, but also, by the end of the week, we got to find out who those guys are when we kick off, against Minnesota in that first round, first play. Who's going to be out there, and who are we counting on? So I'm excited because I think we do have a lot of options there, and I think guys have practiced well.
Last question over here, Nathan.
There's been so much attention on this receiving core, these quarterbacks. But what do you need out of a running back in this offense?
I mean, the first thing with the running back is they have to take care of the football. So important in this first game that we take care of the football on offense. The second thing is, they have to run physical. Runs of 3 got to turn into 5 and 6. And the last thing is, how many guys can you make miss when it gets to the second level? What can you turn in? Can you turn good into great? Can you turn a gain of 7 into a gain of 80? And those are the things we're looking for in the run game. In the pass game, they got to be able to protect, be strong. I've been very, very impressed with our pass protection at running back. Really been solid. And then they, whatever they can do out of the backfield in terms of route running and pass catching is obviously important as well.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.